Welcome to the country, where we do country things. And on today's video, this is going to be kind of a 500 subscriber special. So what I'm going to do today is just kind of introduce all of the deer, all of the breeders anyway, to the new subscribers, to people who haven't seen them before, and just kind of go through and introduce everybody, so that way all the new people that we have kind of understand who I'm talking about and a little bit of info on them. So I guess we got to start off with Bo here. Bo's kind of our mascot for the channel. I try to feature him in every video, especially with the intros and stuff. But Bo here is going on 5 years old this year. He's a bottle-fed buck, so that's why he's so tame. And he's kind of the mascot for the channel. So everybody seems to enjoy watching him. And I got a question the other day whether he was okay or not. And you can see right here he's doing just fine. Getting ready to grow his 5th set of antlers. He should be shedding his bases off here the next couple of months, and we'll get started with 2022 antler growth. It's going to be the same deal as last year. We're going to be bringing you videos on every inch of antler that he grows, documenting everything, so everybody kind of gets a good idea of how these antlers grow, and kind of get to watch him grow up as he puts on his 5th set of antlers. So anyway, I'm going to get over there in the other pens, kind of go through a walkthrough, introduce all the new subscribers to the deer, and give me a minute to get over there, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we'll start off with Nina right here. Nina is our very first deer. She's turning 7 years old this year. Hey, sweetie. So when we started this whole deer farm, it just kind of started out as a hobby, something we wanted to have, a pet deer, and we wanted to make sure we did it legal. So we purchased a license. We built the pen that's on the west there to start off with, and then we went to the local deer breeder and picked out Nina when she was a fawn. We bottle fed her, and now it's almost 7 years later, and we're kind of getting into this more and more, and started out as, just like I said, a hobby thing, and we really didn't make any money at it. I really didn't need to make any money at it. Those kind of things have changed now, where I'm working on the farm full time, and this needs to be a profitable enterprise for us. So hopefully Nina continues to be a big part of that. So this deer right here, this is Topaz. Hey, sweetheart. And Topaz is a deer that we won at an auction, and then we went and picked her out, and she was bottle fed. Topaz is number 5, yellow number 5, and I think our count is up to 31. So the fawns that we've tagged here is the number's up to 31, and she's number 5. So she's been here, well, her whole life, and she'll be 4 years old this year. She's a sweet girl. We love a Topaz. So let's walk down here and take a look at the oldest deer that we have here on the farm. Now this is Ruby. Ruby is orange number 4. And Ruby will be turning 11 years old this year. Hey, sweetheart. Now Ruby was a bottle-fed doe, not by us, but by the guy that we bought Nina from, so she came from the same farm. Ruby had twins last year, and unfortunately we lost one of those early on, and so she ended up raising one, which with her age, it's a whole lot better for her to raise one fawn than two. It's a whole lot easier on her. So really, I hope that she only has just a single this year. Like I said, it'll be a lot easier for her to raise one fawn at her age. So that's Ruby. So if we can walk down here. So this deer right here is Yellow 13, and then the one behind her is Red 30. Now Yellow 13 was born here. She is a buckshot daughter. She'll be turning 2 years old this spring, so she'll be having her very first fawns this year. And the one behind her there is Red 30, which Red 30 came from a farm in kind of north central Oklahoma. She had us a set of twins last year. She had twin doe fawns. We lost one of those as well, and she ended up raising us the one doe fawn. She is really highly bred. She comes from some 350-inch genetics. So we're really excited to see, what she has. Hopefully she has us a buck fawn this year, and hopefully it belongs to Groot. So here in the north pen we have Nina, Topaz, Ruby, Yellow 13, and Red 30, and then all of the various fawns. I think there's Nina's twin buck fawns are in here, and then the little fawn that we've been treating, and then there's 2 doe fawns, Ruby's doe fawn and Yellow or Red 30's doe fawn is in here. So we'll move over here and go to the west pen. This is the pen that Buckshot is in. Now Buckshot is turning 4 years old this year. He was born right here on this farm, but he's not Oklahoma genetics. So we bought his mother from a farm up in Minnesota, and she was pregnant when she got here. He was born on July the 15th of that year, and unfortunately his mother died when he was 6 weeks old. So deer fawns typically nurse between 90 and 100 days. And when his mother passed away, we ended up putting him in with Nina. And Nina kind of adopted him, let him nurse, and ended up, getting him raised, and that was that'll be 4 years ago this June. So we bred buckshot really heavy last year, and we have 5 buck fawns on the farm, and all the buck fawns are out of buckshot. So the little doe you see laying here, this is Diamond. Diamond is Nina's very first fawn. She's turning 4 years old. I think her birthday is May the 25th. So she'll be 4 years old in May. She is yellow number 1. Hey, sweetheart. And she was not bottle fed. She was raised by Nina. So she's not nearly as tame. So you really can't love on her and pet her all that much. You can see she's kind of standoffish, but she doesn't get up. You know, she's laying there and lets me get really close. And then in with them, there's 3 of the buck fawns that are in with their daddy right there. There's the one that had his tail, something happened to his tail. Back when he was a fawn, somehow he lost his tail, so he just has a little nubby tail there. So there's what we have in the west pen. So we'll walk over here and go back in the alley, and we'll go up to the south pen. So all of the pens that we have are pretty much separated from each other just to keep the bucks from fighting. So if you look down the alleyways, all the pens have a 6-foot alleyway between them. And that way we don't have any bucks fighting through the fence at each other. There's Bo there sitting in the shade. So we step into the south pen here, which is the one closest to the house. We have Groot, and we have 35, which 35 came to us from the same farm that Topaz came from, except we bought her when she was a yearling. She's probably the wildest deer that we do have on the farm. She's the one who's going to be in the back corner every time. That's about as close as you're going to get to her. It doesn't matter how long you have these deer. If their personality is the way hers is, she just never does really ever calm down from that. She's just, you know, she's been here several years. We're down here multiple times a day and stuff, and she's just, you know, that's just her personality, and she's not gonna let you get too close. So we learn, you know, to deal with their personalities and how to best approach these deer and how best to move around to make sure that they feel comfortable and safe. And she's one that you're just not going to be able to get too close to. Now over here in the corner, this is our 3-legged buck. This is Groot. This is the new breeder that we brought in back at the end of last summer. And you know, after Groot had the accident with the broken leg, and everything that went on with that, and ended up having to amputate that leg. We're just not sure if he's able to actually breed the does, so that's the reason we moved him down with the backup buck. So there's kind of 3 reasons why we wanted to keep 35 up here with him. The first reason is that we really don't like to put these deer in pens by themselves. It stresses them out. They really like to be with other deer. They're really social animals. And if you put them in by themselves, they just constantly want to pace the fence and be in the pen with the other deer. So we wanted to keep a companion with him, for starters. She's also the mother of the yearling buck that we're using as a backup breeder this year. So we didn't want to breed her back to her son. And she's also the deer that we're using as a kind of a control deer. And what I mean by that is, if she has a fawn, then we'll know for 100% fact that Groot is able to breed, which is what he was brought here for. And the likelihood of the fawns from the other 5 does that were in with him during the rut, the likelihood that those fawns belong to him are, 100%. So kind of depending on when those fawns were born, we'll get a good idea of who's the father. So if those fawns are born in late May, early June, then they belong to Groot. If they're born late June, early July, they more than likely are out of the yearling buck. But if 35 here has a fawn, say, the first week of June, she typically has fawns in June, the first week of June every year. So if she has a fawn at all, then we'll know that Groot's able to breed and that those fawns belong to him. So the thing that's going to be interesting with this whole process, especially with Groot, is the fact that he is kind of the unofficial state record, the largest yearling ever born in the state of Oklahoma, which he scored 320 inches. So we'll have him officially scored once he sheds those bases and we get his antlers put back together. Then we can have him officially scored and make that official. So what's interesting about this whole process is how he's gonna be able to carry his antlers with just the 3 legs. What effect that that injury has on his antler growth, as far as the shape and everything, whether he grows goes really non-typical on one side or the other, or grows bigger on one side or the other, just how that injury affects antler growth. And then whether he can carry his antlers throughout the entire growing season, all the way up until it's kind of time to shed the velvet. So it's really going to be fun to watch him grow out. We're expecting him to gain quite a bit of antlers, inches, from year 1 to 2. He could very easily hit 400 this fall, and maybe even bigger. It just kind of depends on how that amputated leg, how that injury affects the antler growth itself, and whether he's able to carry that set of antlers all the way out to maturity and all the way to it's time to shed the velvet. So a couple of really interesting things are going to be going on here this summer as far as the deer goes, plus all the other little side projects and the side ventures that we have going on with the farm as I work towards building this farm up from you know, just a hobby farm to a profitable full-time business. So these deer are a big part of that, and hopefully we continue to grow this channel and continue to grow these deer and continue to grow this farm. And I want to thank everybody who subscribed to the channel and you know, supporting the channel by watching. I got a lot of things coming up this summer, not only with the deer but with the entire farm. With the rebuilding of the new aquaponics system, we got a couple other things going on, looking towards some new livestock coming in, and just a lot of plans for the future. So you're kind of getting in on the groundbreaking part of building a farm up from scratch. So I want to thank everybody for subscribing. I want to thank everybody for watching and supporting the channel and showing the interest in the deer. So anyway, just to recap real quick about who we have. So we'll start off with Nina, Ruby, and Topaz. We've got Red 30, 13 Yellow. We've got Diamond, and we have 35 here, which kind of nicknamed her Slim. And that's the breeder does that we have. And then we have the bucks are Groot, Buckshot. We have the yearling buck down there, the backup buck. And then we have Bo, which is kind of our more of a pet, more of a mascot. Not actually breeding, but you know, he's the mascot for the channel. And you know, just basically a big pet. So that's the deer that we have right now, plus all the fawns that we had last year. So we had all together last year we had 10 fawns born, which we ended up raising 8 out of the 10, which is really good. That's the best year we've ever had as far as raising the fawns up. So we're really happy with that, and hope we continue building these genetics and making this deer farm venture profitable. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching this one, and I'll be back.